Good morning, guys. We've got a wonderful morning again. Pretty tough to beat Canada summers. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? You think your government's going to rescue you? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, if you're enjoying Lynn and I's content, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let's get to it. Okay, let's talk about, will our embassies rescue us? I hate to say it, guys, but really honestly, they're there. They'll help you with your passports. Maybe they'll even send you a new Visa card if it's been lost or stolen. But embassies rescuing you, that's a thing of movies. Honestly, it really is. Now, I'm going to give you an example, and Adriano, if you're watching, an apology, but examples are kind of needed. A friend of ours in the condo that we were living in had to go to the hospital. He'd been suffering for a while, finally broke down and went to the hospital. And I've mentioned in the other videos, how simple things like, continual contact with family and such is critical because, when there was need to contact the family, they thought it might have been a scam. So Robert ends up in the hospital, thought it was tuberculosis. Some of us actually got tested later on because we were concerned about it. Wasn't tuberculosis in the end, it was cancer. And money got scrounged up and everything, debts got paid to get out of the hospital. And then he whipped down to his embassy to try and get home. And they said, yeah, run off and get your MBI clearance and we'll see what we can do for you. And he did that. And then I believe they said, go clear up your debts and then we'll see what we can do. And now, sadly, Robert did get home, but didn't make it. And that's the harsh reality of life. I'm not sure that it would have made any difference if he was back in his home country, but, a harsh reality of will your embassy rescue you? They're just not going to come to your rescue, guys. Even through all of Lynn and I's immigration stuff, we had to get letters from my government and even the hoops there to jump through just to get that letter. That was a government to government agency, and that was not easy. The amount of stuff that I had to do just to get into the embassy was not all that easy, between the travel and all of that type of thing. So where does that lead me with OverStay? Well, OverStay has become a bit of a problem. And thanks Lynn, she reminded me of this. The OverStay has become a bit of a problem because the government is quite willing to, the Philippine government is quite willing to give you a grace period, but I believe that's all over. Now, I know that there's been a lot of chatter when we were there last year about how can we get in to do this. We need travel documents and all that stuff to travel inter-island. But even in northern Cebu, we ran into guys that were on OverStay and they didn't save the money. Didn't save the money. It's a common thread with me, isn't it, with the money? But you can run into serious trouble there. And I'm not doing these videos to, pound a hammer into your head or anything. I'm just wanting to make sure that you put a good plan together when you go, okay? And a plan that will not leave you frustrated and all of that type of thing. Because, think of leaving a job. When you leave a job and you go to another one, there is a period of adjustment. Now amp that up about 10 times because you've got colleagues at that new job that are going to help acclimatize you to the new environment, right? And this is why I've said, plant your feet outside of Krispy Kreme or McDonald's or something like that and allow yourself some time to ground yourself. Get yourself used to being in the Philippines. Get yourself used to saying hi to perfect strangers. Not always easy in our native countries to do that. It's not. And so I feel it's important that we break out of that comfort zone. But at the same time of breaking out of the comfort zone, just go real slow. And having some basic understanding before you leave is critical. And one of those understandings is the penalties on overstay, the idea that your embassy will rescue you if you get in real big trouble. It's just not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. It it's the thing of movies, right? As I mentioned earlier, it's a thing of movies. And Robert's case is a very good example of a very sick man that needed to get back to his country to get, some Western medical care. Not that he couldn't have got it there, but he ran out of money, right? And, I think I mentioned a few minutes ago that then there was the other trouble of maybe not enough contact with his family. And the net result is that the family, when they were started to receive emails, thought it was a bit of a scam. So again, another thing that I emphasize is I don't care who it is, a buddy, a banker, a accountant, friend, family, set up a schedule of talking to people back home. If nothing else, share your adventure. I think it's critical. I really do. And so, all these different things that you have to put in place, leads to that whole overstay thing again, that because of COVID, there was a grace period there. And are you ready to deal with those debts? Hopefully, you were used to paying your immigration fees, so now you're just going to go in and you saved each month, knowing that somewhere along the way you were going to have to pay it. And I think you could still use the excuse that you couldn't travel from the island or wherever because of this and that, or hell, just say that you were scared. They'll all understand, I think. But the critical part on the overstay is this length of time. Normally at 3 years is kind of it's a tipping point in this whole thing. And I don't know if they're going to extend that grace period to the 3-year part, which one requires you to leave the country. Sunshine Shoulders just recently had to leave the country because he was up on his 3 years. And you can keep paying your immigration, but you still have that exit requirement every 3 years if you're living in the Philippines full time. So be aware of all of this stuff, guys. You have to keep on top of it all. There are certain things that you need to, we don't deal with them every day, so you got to kind of write them down, put them on a calendar, whatever, and allow yourself the time to refer to things and keep notes on what the process was, etc. Because when you get out of the rhythm, it can be daunting, right? I know guys are trying to get ACR cards now. They've gone to the Philippines, they've been there too long. The immigration office is saying, come on, get your ACR card. We need formal identifiers and stuff like that. And yes, you can get a barangay ID, but that doesn't help you with the immigration. So with the ACRs, they're so backlog online and then trying to get an appointment to go to Manila to get it done, well, again, now that requires you to fly and another set of expenses. So again, not trying to deter you from going to the Philippines. That's the last thing I'm trying to do here. But what I am trying to do is, set a pattern here, right, of saving, documenting, Sounds like a lot. It really isn't. It's minor amount of stuff, but it is stuff that has to get done. I'm going through my Canada pension right now, and the hoops and jumps and all of that type of thing. Um, it's not easy. I've never done it before, but I am taking a lot of notes as I go. And again, I've gone down to the agency that's supposed to help me with all of this stuff. And they're saying, make an appointment. So I make an appointment. And then they say, yeah, we can deal with you in about eight weeks or so. You know, and because they're pressing everybody to do this stuff online. And as we found with COVID, huge numbers of, you know, aging out people, the 55 plussers, have all decided, you know, to hell with this, I'll just retire early. And so now the government's got this onslaught of people wanting to get signed up for pension. So, and as one guy said, hey, where's my OAP? You don't get that till you're 65. That's why I've been self-funding my pension until 65, is I want both those to kick in at the same time. But as far as the Philippines goes, be careful with your overstays, guys. The penalties aren't worth it. The risk of deportation, if you get the wrong guy on the wrong day, you know how it's like. Hell, I've even been that guy pushing me on the wrong day, right? So, you know, be careful. Your embassy isn't there to rescue you. I'll give you one more example of the embassy, okay? We signed up very quickly when COVID started, signed up to the embassy site, and then they put us onto the consulate site. And the consulate said register here, and the consulate kept saying the last flight out of the Philippines will be March 30th. March 30th is the last flight. Da, 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 da. Nope, March 27th. We got the third to last flight out. We were lucky. Our flight was going to fly on the 30th, and we talked to the travel agent. We said, you know, the risk is too high. Get us on the next flight. And I think I say the 27th. I think it was the 21st, and we were the third flight out. So again, you know, your embassy is doing everything that it can to help on certain things, publishes stuff online, etc., etc. And that's why we use the Philippine consulate site, because we want to know from the horse's mouth what is the real deal. Okay. Alrighty, guys, that's a wrap for today. Later, Gators, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.